These two drones, the Avata 2 and the Mini 4 Pro, are probably the most popular drones when it comes to getting into each of their respective categories, FPV and normal drones, but which one of these is actually going to be right for you? Now this video has been highly requested, and I can see why, to be honest, because they both offer a very different experience and vastly different footage. So I'm going to head to two unique locations, test these guys out and give you my thoughts on how to pick the right one for you. And who knows, if you're anything like me, you might just end up with both of them. So if you're new around here, my name is Justin. It's great to see you. Drop a hello down in the comments below. And if you've been here before, it's great to have you back. Now, I'm actually going to see you again tomorrow morning for what is going to be, fingers crossed, a beautiful sunrise on the beach, which is where we're going to begin in 3, 2, 1. And we're here. Now, I do love a very good sort of beach sunrise, and I haven't done one in a very long time, actually. So I'm going to quickly cover a few talking points, and then we're going to fly these things. So I don't have very long. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is flight time. Obviously, there's a big difference in flight time between the Mini 4 Pro and the Avata 2. The Mini 4 Pro, especially with the plus batteries, is going to fly for upwards of 40 minutes, where the Avata 2 is around, 20, 23 minutes. And realistically, when you're flying FPV, it's going to be a lot more mentally and physically challenging on your eyes. So you don't actually need as much flight time. And coming from the world of traditional FPV, when you only have like 5 or 6 minutes realistically of flight time, up to 20 minutes is a fantastically long amount. And with the Mini 4 Pro, I mean, these things just freaking fly forever. There's no real need for it to fly for that long, in my opinion, because I can get all the shots I need to in 20, 25 minutes. But yeah, it's good to have the extra flight time if you need it. Next thing I want to talk about is the style of the video that these are both capturing. Now, obviously the Mini 4 Pro is capturing that sort of cinematic, stabilized, really slow, really sort of calm style of video, where with FPV you're capturing more dynamic, more high intensity. There's a lot more dynamic movement in the shot, and therefore it can feel more engaging, but it can also take away a little bit from things feeling nice and cinematic. So it just kind of depends what kind of shot you're aiming to get, and sometimes an FPV shot is going to work better than a stabilized shot, and sometimes a stabilized shot is going to work better than an FPV shot. So you have to weigh it up and think what style of shot you're going to do the most often, and then pick your machine accordingly. Next thing I want to cover that's really different is the method of flying. So with FPV, you're flying through a goggles and either the motion controller or your FPV3 controller. So it's really immersive, and there's sort of nothing else going on around you. You're just focused on capturing the shot. Where when you're flying with a stabilized drone, you're just flying through the controller and your screen or the phone attached to the top. And it can be a little bit less engaging. It can sometimes feel a bit boring after a few minutes, and after you're just sort of flying around, you've got a few shots. There's nothing really else to do. It's not as much fun to do, just to do, as FPV to do. But yeah, so that's something you've got to bear in mind. If you want a fully immersive experience and something that's fun to do without actually filming, then FPV is going to be there. But if you want something that's sort of less intense and more relaxing, then stabilized drones is the way to go. And the last thing I want to talk about before I start flying, because we're running out of time, I can see the sort of colors coming into the sky, is the learning curve. Now, pretty much anyone can pick up a Mini 4 Pro and get up in the air, flying and capturing really good shots in a matter of minutes, where with FPV, if you want to capture the really sort of intense, dynamic, fully acrobatic style shots, it's going to take a bit of time. There's a bit more of a learning curve to it. It's a bit of a steeper curve, but once you get it, it's extremely rewarding, because the shots you can pull off with FPV, you just can't pull off with any other style of machine. All right, that's enough talking for now. I'm going to get these things out. We're going to fly, because there's some beautiful shots getting set up right now. Okay, I think that'll do for this location. Pretty happy with all the shots that we just got there. Let me know in the comments what you thought of either of them. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. At one point there were like 5 drones in the sky at one point. And I didn't think this place was going to be particularly busy, but I guess I was wrong. So I'm going to make my way to my next location now and we'll do some more shots and I'll give you some more thoughts. Okay, so it's a couple of hours later now and you join me at the second location, which is the Tegalalang rice terraces here in Bali, and it took me a long time to figure out where to do this. So here I am, and let's talk about a couple more things before we send these guys up in the air. The first thing I want to cover is the setup time. Now, getting this out ready to go, the setup time is quite similar, but the Avata 2 is going to take longer to get up and flying. That's because you've got more things to do. You know, you've got the goggles and the radio and all that stuff to get on and get set up. Where with this, you just power it on, power the radio on, wait a few seconds for GPS, and you can go. It's pretty quick. This is also much quicker compared to the old sort of Avata one where you had the goggles too, where you had to plug in another battery and all that stuff. It's a lot quicker than that, but it's still not quite as quick as getting this ready, but really they both don't take that long to get up in the air. Something else that I want to cover is you need to bear in mind just how often you're actually going to be flying these things, because if you're flying it really often, then maybe something like the Avata 2 is going to make more sense, because flying FPV, you do need to do it quite often to keep up to date and keep your skills sort of fresh, whereas something like this you can just sort of pull it out once every couple of months and still get pretty good footage. Now if you're using the motion controller with this, you're still going to get sort of 70 to 80% of the way to sort of full FPV footage. But if you're going to be using the FPV3 controller, you do need to do quite a bit of practice to keep your skills up to date. So bear that in mind. If you're not going to be flying super often, maybe this doesn't make as much sense, but then again, with the motion controller, it's pretty easy. So yeah, it's one of those. Okay, the last thing I'm going to cover before we get these guys actually up in the air is drones are kind of strange, because once you get one, you seem to get another one and another one and another one. So the chances are if you get the Mini 4 Pro, you're still going to have that itch to want to try the Avata 2 out anyway. So you're probably going to end up with both of them. So I'm not sure how you want to take that. Maybe just skip or get both, or just go straight to this. You're not going to be able to get the same kind of footage that you get on this with this. You can get it a little bit with sort of horizon steady and stuff, but realistically this is extremely good at what it does, and this is extremely good at what it does. They're both different tools for different jobs. So let's send them up in the air and see what they do in these beautiful rice terraces. Okay, there you go. I've given you my thoughts on both of them. I've shown you a variety of footage at 2 different locations. And the thing is, they both capture very different styles of footage. And which style is it that you're going to be needing most often? That's probably going to be the thing that's going to be the biggest deciding factor in which one you get. Think about all the things that I've talked about throughout this video. Have you got enough time to really put into learning how to become a really good FPV pilot? If not, maybe the Mini 4 Pro is going to be the better option. But do you just want to fly for fun? In which case, the Avata 2 might be the better option. And if you want to know how to make your Mini 4 Pro more cinematic like I did today in these beautiful locations, check out this video right here. And if you want to know more about what I think about the Avata 2, you can check out my full review for that just here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.